Hey guys, I'm Andrew, and this is...
I'm Niko.
And we're the co-founders of Easy Labs. We've been building in the payment space for the last couple of years. And yeah, so...
As Dimitri alluded to, we did start off as competitors. So we started off in the deep end space as enterprise deployers of helium equipment. I had a company that was one of the largest in the country. Andrew had another one that was one of the largest in the country. And together, we were individually going throughout states and around the country, putting helium Wi-Fi, helium cell phone emplacements, hotspots, Wi-Fi hotspots, etc. But when we found out working individually in this space is that when you're working at the cutting edge of technology, and specifically the cutting edge of payments too, and getting paid in crypto and paid out and have merchants and business owners and real estate companies and what have you that you're paying out in cash, traditional payment processing completely fails. So we were not able to scale our businesses past a certain point. We just kept on running into impediments. PayPal kept on debanking both of us, or holding our money for up to 120 days, and we said this system just doesn't work. So we decided to go into business together, and we started this project from then on.
Yeah, so it started from a pretty simple idea. It was, how can we use smart contracts to solve our problem, right? And our problem was pretty, it was pretty unique, but it wasn't as unique as we really thought. So we're going to kind of go through a simple thing here about merchant acquirers and how it currently works, right? So typically, we are merchant acquirers, essentially, and we are the distribution and sales arm of the payment side, right? We contract with merchants for payment services, and we get our fees based off percentage fees, fixed fees per transaction, and sometimes additional added value to those systems.
What does a transaction look like on the merchant acquiring side? And the reason we're going over this, because a lot of crypto people kind of, glaze over this, because TradFi is, by its nature, very boring. But the key point here is that there are many different ways to create a sale and for a merchant to get a payment for that sale, whether it's an independent company, whether it's from a SaaS product, what have you, and the different vendors. But if a $100 sale goes through, most of the time, that merchant will be receiving $97. And why is that? Because from the card networks and the card issuers and us, from our fee for providing that service, every single one of those steps has an inefficiency of time, of money, and a friction that goes into there for going over TradFi-based payment rails.
So we kind of look at this, the ecosystem. We look at business, consumer side, and where we kind of fit in. And we see TradFi and crypto. A lot of the crypto companies are great at taking, crypto payments. They focus on crypto payments. We focus kind of somewhere in the middle. We thought of, let's kind of bring these two things together. So we sit smack dab in the middle. We work with businesses primarily at the moment. And we blend kind of the traditional Web 2 side with the crypto side. And so, our core thesis is basically merchant fees should go to zero. Self-custody enables people to make money. Data is king at the end of the day, and that programmability will unlock so many different things for different merchants. So we started with kind of a familiar interface and tools that people are used to. We thought, again, just like Loop, right? We want to meet people where they're at right now and not where they're going to be. So we created a dashboard and a system that looks like any other payment processor. They have the same tools there. We have other things like virtual terminals. People can take payments on the go if they need to. We have API integrations. We have subscription management so that they can manage subscriptions on whatever time period and whatever types of discounts or anything that they want to get. And we also have the ability to create no-code solutions. So we have, you can brand it the way that you'd like and be able to check out and not change the user experience in any way. Right now, it's the customer they like cards, they like their bank transfers, they like what they're used to. So we kind of allow them to do that. And then, we also have no-code checkout systems.
And importantly, let's go back one slide.
Yeah.
Importantly, the thing to notice on this, if you see anything, is that from the merchant perspective and the customer perspective, what do you see on that? you see billing on a card or a bank account. There's also Apple Pay and Google Pay. This just was an outdated GIF, so excuse me. But what you don't see is connect to wallet, pay by wallet. Because what we're doing and what we truly believe is that we need to meet the merchants and the consumers where they're at today. And that where they're at today is they want to spend with a credit card in order to get their credit card bonus, like their rewards and their points. And if they want to do with a bank transfer like an ACH, that's also something that they do today.
Yeah. So what sets us apart then if we're just doing, crypto, or if we're just doing traditional payments, right? Credit cards. So we looked at the model and we said, okay, crypto is a great innovator and it's a great way to unlock a bunch of additional features to it. So we created a system where now it's almost like pick your own adventure pricing for consumers. They're able to change their behavior, do whatever they'd like to, and pay the way that they want to, or get paid the way they want to, in order to save. And so how does that necessarily work? It's with our process automation. So coming from the deep in space, our whole thing, the reason why we created the tool in the first place was because we couldn't automate those payments out to our different counterparties. So we originally built a automation platform that just allowed us to get everyone paid automatically. We didn't have to go through massive spreadsheets of on-chain transactions in order to pay these people. So we started with that, and it's a rule-based system that allows people to customize any workflow that they need and build it on self-custodial smart wallet infrastructure. The difference is that we're paying with stablecoins. We're settling all of these merchant accounts into stablecoins. So that's where our Web3 side comes in, is we use the traditional methods and use stablecoins to drive down the cost, because the longer that someone has it in automation, we as a company are earning yield, but we pass that yield in a form of a cashback to every single merchant that we have on our system, thus lowering the processing fees over time. So dependent on how they decide to process and how they decide to pay out their counterparties, they're saving money. So this is kind of what a traditional payment might look like, right, for a B2B transfer. You've got multiple counterparties, you've got local banks, correspondent banks, doing things like foreign exchange, and it costs a lot, right? It takes around 3 to 7 days to get something from, in this case, right, Canada to Mexico, and it costs anywhere from $14 to $150 per thousand, right? With Easy, now let's say if we had one member on Easy. With Easy, they're already getting their stable coins as settlements, so now they don't have any on-ramping, they're not doing any of that. But now, let's say that they want to pay one of their vendors that doesn't have Easy. Well, we have a solution where we can create an off-ramp wallet, right, where we send those stables to it and it'll automatically send it to their bank account. So if they have a bank account, they give the information to their vendor or the merchant, they can basically send them transactions, and that makes a massive cost savings, around $1 to $10 with Forex on-chain, and a time of around, it can be near real time or take up to a day, sometimes too, but very little. And then we have, the use case of what two customers with Easy looks like, and that's pretty simple. If they both have these on-chain accounts, we can send transfers in 400 milliseconds, just like a Solana transaction, and it costs them next to nothing. We end up subsidizing all of the on-chain transactions because it doesn't cost us much at all.
And so one other thing there that was important to notice there as well is that what it comes down to is the frictions in the system are both a cost friction and a time friction. And one thing that stablecoins do better than any other system that we've seen right now is reduce both that time friction and, in our case, that cost friction. But it's that integration that's the hard part.
So again, here's another thing. Here's a card payment from customer to coffee shop, right? It's going from point of sale, payment processor, acquiring bank, card network, issuing bank, merchant account, and then finally to the coffee shop. Now, where we fit into that, right, is not too much different. We fit in here, right, in these two places. We're being the merchant account, we're hosting that merchant account, and we're also processing those transactions. But on the back end, it looks a little bit more complicated. And we actually use one of the other speakers that's going to be presenting after us, Braille. They're a stablecoin infrastructure provider. We've been working with them for a long time on this. But what it looks like for us is it looks a lot more complicated. But essentially what happens is the Web2 payment infrastructure takes in the money, We then take all the settlements are sent to the merchant's virtual bank account, which is set up through Braille, and we take all of those and basically put them into treasuries or stable coins, right? The stable coins then are sent onto the smart wallet infrastructure, and they decide how they want to do this. If they want to set up automated workflows, they can do that. They can do things like bill pay or payroll, depending on, I mean, it's endless what they can actually complete on there. And then we end up taking any of the yield that we aggregate from those treasuries, and we put it into our self-custodial wallet, and then we basically divvy up all of those different things and give it to them in a form of cashback based on their daily average balance and how much they have on the platform at any given time. We send that when it's triggered, when they decide they either want to off-ramp it, we send it real time directly back to their bank account. And then if they need to load funds into it to send to someone else, they just trigger a transaction and it goes straight to their on-chain wallet. That being said, we're easy. We're an easy company, and it was great chatting with all of you. If you have any questions, we'll be around.